So this week we are talking about light energy. And so I want to go over some vocabulary words with you and give you some examples of those vocabulary words. These are super important words that you absolutely must know the definitions to. And pretty much everything we do this week and also next week will use these words. So the first word I want to talk to you about is opaque. That's kind of a weird word, especially how it's spelled there. It's opaque. Okay, that's a long O and then a long A, and then the Q is a K sound like a K, and then the U and the E are silent, so opaque. Opaque materials are materials that do not let light pass through them. Okay, I want you to think about that. Look around your classroom or your home if you're at home, and I want you to look at all the things around the room that if you had a flashlight and you were shining that flashlight on them, the light would not get through that material. Okay, so I'm just looking here at my desk. My table would be opaque because there's no way that light would get through the wood of the table. Okay, my phone would be opaque because the light would not go through my phone. The light would bounce off of it. Okay, myself, me as a person, okay, I would be opaque because if you're shining a flashlight at me, then that light is either going to bounce off or go around. It's not going to go through me. Okay, so I put this picture here because the other part about opaque materials is that they cast shadows. Okay, because they are blocking light. Okay, so think of that. Anything that would cast a shadow, anything that is outside in the sun or that has the light shining on it, if it has a shadow, it would be opaque. So that's really going to be the majority of things that you see around you will definitely be opaque. Then we have transparent. Okay, transparent materials let light pass through them. Light travels through transparent materials. So this is a picture of a window, and we can see on the window there are raindrops, okay, or water drops. And so that window is transparent, meaning the light travels through it completely. Okay, it's not blocked by it. It's not going to cause a shadow. That window, that clear, transparent window, lets that light pass through. Okay, there will be less things around your classroom because I'm looking around, and there's not a whole lot of things in my classroom. Other than windows or perhaps, maybe the door on the microwave or, the piece of plastic on the clock where you can see through. Those are all transparent because light can go through. But there would be less transparent items than there would be opaque. The next one is translucent. Translucent. Okay. Translucent materials transmit some light and absorb some light. Okay, one way you can think about that is it's semi-transparent. Okay, so transparent, you can see through it completely. Okay, there's nothing blocking the light. All right, but translucent, some of the light goes through and some of it doesn't. So I have a couple of examples here. If I have a bottle that has kind of like that frosted appearance to it, so I can kind of see a little bit through it, but not really, that's translucent. Okay, or this is like a picture of kind of like a glass shower door that you can kind of see that there's something back behind the door, but you can't really see what it is because it's translucent. So some of the light goes through, which lets you see that there's something on the other side, but some of it is absorbed, which means that you can't fully see what's on the other side. In order to do that, it would have to be completely transparent. Then we have reflection. Okay, this is super important. The reflection is the bouncing of light off of an object. Okay, the bouncing. Reflection is a bounce. Okay, and then here in this picture, we've got a couple of things happening. Okay, so this picture right here, the flashlight is coming down onto a mirror. Okay, and we know that mirrors are reflective. Okay, so the flashlight comes down onto that reflective mirror and then bounces off. Okay, so this is also a smooth surface. This says that the arrow shows how light reflects off a rough surface. So they're using a wall. Okay, so again, the flashlight is pointing down. When it hits that rough surface, it kind of goes everywhere. Okay, over here you can see that it pretty much goes all in the same direction, right? Okay, but when it hits a rough surface, it kind of just bounces everywhere. So reflection is bouncing. That's important because refraction is the bending of light as it passes at an angle from one type of matter into another. So it's bending of the light, okay? And then also we're talking about from one type of matter into another. Usually we're talking about air and water, okay? There are other types of matter that we'll talk about, but those are the general main ones, okay? So if I have light that is passing from the air and it's going into the water, then I'm going to have refraction, okay? So if I look over here, and I want you guys to try this at home, okay? If you're at home, do this after science class today. If you're at school, then when you get home, I want you to try this. Now, you only will be able to see it if it's a somewhat transparent glass, okay? Meaning you can see through it. So if you put a spoon into the glass, right here, it makes it look like that spoon is broken. Okay, or sometimes if you put a pencil in the glass, it'll make the pencil look like it's bent. It's not broken. It's not bent. Okay, it's not magic. Some people think it's magic. Not magic. Okay, what it is that the light, once it goes from the air, because right here in this part, it's in the air. So once it goes from the air into the water, that light is bending. And so it makes it look like the spoon is bending. Okay, same thing here. We've got a wooden pile here that is on going, it's in the air and the water. So here in the air, it looks like it's straight. When that light hits the water, it makes it look like this has bent. Okay, it's not bent. It just looks like it is because of refraction. Okay, and then we can also see a reflection happening here on this side. Okay, so this reflection is the sun hitting this opaque wood here and not going through the wood but casting a shadow. So this is an interesting picture because we have the refraction, the bending, okay, and then we have the reflection of the opaque material. And the last word is prism. Okay, so a prism is a transparent, okay, so it has to be clear. You have to be able to see through it. A transparent material that separates white light into its component colors by refraction. Okay. Now, what we're talking about with white light, it's kind of a weird term. It really is just like, look at your overhead lights. Okay, that's white light. Okay, you're taking that light that is not a color yet, okay, and you're putting it through this prism, the transparent, clear, see-through material, and then it comes out in colors. Okay, so this one is something that we see sometimes on test questions. So the white light goes inside and it kind of bends, and then it is sent out here in colors. This is a better picture because you can actually see the colors. So when this white light goes in here, okay, notice again, it's bent, right? That's refraction. Bending is refraction, all right? So it's bent and it separates all of the colors out of this white, okay? So really all of these colors, the colors in the spectrum, are in white, okay? White is made up of all of these colors. So this prism helps to separate those white light. And again, it's by refraction.